It has been 40 years since our protagonist fell into this other world. He is currently engaged in a fight, and he deals a huge blow that changes the terrain. It finally ended today. Yo Seung-woo and 3 others finally defeated the ultimate demon king. Just then, the goddess Gaia appears before the 4 heroes. Sung-woo glares at her. He complains that Gaia gave other people good abilities, items, and team names while he got nothing. Gaia tries to make up a reason, but Sung-woo gets mad. Gaia wonders why Seung-woo is abnormally strong. Gaia calms herself and asks them for the rewards they want to receive. The orc asks to be sent to the next battlefield. The cute cleric didn't ask for anything because she already adventured with great comrade. The elf archer asks for the power to travel through dimensions and handle weapons. Gaia wonders what the weapons are for. The elf claims he wants to use it for revolution to help the bullied, weak races. Sung-woo agrees. Gaia then asks for Sung-woo's wish. He already has the riches, power, and ability to travel dimension. He only wants one thing. He recalls eating the first meal he had in this world. He wants to go home and open a restaurant. Everyone is stunned. Sung-woo wants to share the food from this world with Korea. Everyone is dead and worried. Even Gaia comments that the food from this world is the worst of all dimensions. Sung-woo pulls out his sword and claims that it is not fair that only he gets to taste such lousy food. Seoul was a city of wealth and peace until monsters appeared. The emergence of gates along with monsters erased the name Seoul without a trace. A man curses as he watches the monsters. A woman tells him to protect his dignity. He is Bait Kang Hyok. He complains about working overtime. Hwang Ji-hyun tells him that they can't help it due to the strange influx of monsters in the area. Kang Hyok notices a monster that looks like it is being chased. It suddenly rains and Kang Hyok leaves as his cigarette gets wet. He wants to take a break because he is not in the mood. He wants to eat his tiredness away. He later strolls into a neighborhood and finds a simple-looking restaurant. He feels hungry and stressed from working overtime. He notices that the shop is closed. However, he still forced his way inside. Moments ago, Sung-woo listed the things he needs. It's not that long after he returned to Earth. As he plans to watch a movie, Kang Hyok forcefully opens the door. Kang Hyok laughs at how empty the place is. Sung-woo menacingly tells him that he hasn't officially opened the shop yet. Kang Hyok acts like he doesn't care and asks for food. The movie fan is pissed off that his sweet time has been ruined. Just then, Sung-woo realizes something. Kang Hyok looks thin and frail. His eyes and intellect didn't recognize the closed sign. Sung-woo cries while imagining that Kang Hyok is not getting food. Kang Hyok gets mad because he feels he is being pitied. For the sick-looking kid, Sung-woo then brings out his best meat, a dragon's meat. It contains a flame spirit that goes well with juice. He uses grape juice and pours it on the grilled meat. Sung-woo feels the fun of cooking for his first customer. Kang Hyok freaks out after hearing a screeching noise coming from the meat. Kang Hyok asks Sung-woo about it, but Sung-woo tells Kang Hyok that it is nothing. Sung-woo garnishes the meal and serves it to Kang Hyok. Kang Hyok can't help but see Sung-woo as incredible. He sees the dish as amazing and expects it to be tasty. Sung-woo calls it the Rhea steak. He tries to slice the meat, but he can't cut it, no matter how much he tries. Sung-woo offers to cut it instead, thinking that Kang Hyok is really a weak kid. Keel Rheas had been the elder of the Red Dragons for 1800 years. Sung-woo easily slices a part of the steak and offers a bit to Kang Hyok. Kang Hyok puts the food in his mouth and he feels something. He trembles and breathes out fire. He realizes that the food doesn't taste good. Sung-woo claims he did it on purpose. He claims it is a dish for survival and strength, which is why it must taste horrific. Kang Hyok wonders what to do with the meat in his mouth. He didn't have a choice but to swallow it. However, his body burns from the inside, and he passes out. An hour later, Kang Hyok wakes up to see a bored Sung-woo. Kang Hyok feels mad and attacks Sung-woo. Sung-woo easily blocks his attack. He feels disappointed that Kang Hyok is still weak despite eating his food. The Keel Rhea steak actually has great effects. Kang Hyok gets offended by being called a weakling. He lets out a powerful attack while claiming that he is the First Order. Sung-woo casually flicks Kang Hyok's forehead and sends him flying. He wonders what the First Order is and looks it up. The First Order is a group of the 100 strongest hunters in the world. Sung Woo can't believe a weakling like Kang Hyuk is part of it. He can sense that the earth is doomed, but he doesn't want to step in. Just then, he thinks of something and smiles menacingly at Kang Hyuk. When monsters appeared, an occupation called Hunter also arose. The strongest hunters are known as the First Order. Kang Hyuk respectfully apologizes to Sung Woo, who warns him not to do the same thing in other restaurants. Kang Hyuk thinks Seung Woo is a foreigner who can kill him at any time. Sung Woo then claims that he will turn Kang Hyuk into a new person so he can get stronger to protect Earth. Sung Woo starts running his boomer's mouth. Kang Hyuk wonders if he can refuse, but it doesn't seem like Sung Woo will let him go. Kang Hyuk doesn't have a choice but to agree. Sung Woo runs off his mouth again, and Kang Hyuk can only listen and cry. Kang Hyuk wonders what Sung Woo's past job was, and he turns out to be a philosophy teacher. He wants to teach Kang Hyuk first about the value of food. However, Kang Hyuk complains that the steak is not food to consume. Sung Woo gets offended and looks down on Kang Hyuk. He instructs Kang Hyuk to finish the rest of the steak. Poor Kang Hyuk, the young one, keeps complaining, but Sung Woo shoves the food into Kang Hyuk's mouth. Kang Hyuk can only remember his mother before he passes out. Sung Woo drags the unconscious Kang Hyuk somewhere. As he doesn't want the planet to turn into ruins, he plans to make the hunters stronger. Meanwhile, in HQ, they can't get in touch with Kang Hyuk. Min-ok from the Second Order has been called to investigate the whereabouts of the missing Kang Hyuk. Min finds it troublesome, but he still moves out. He later arrives in a neighborhood and uses his detection skills. He immediately detects him and arrives at Sung Woo's restaurant. He easily picks the lock and tries to look for the basement's entrance. Just then, Sung Woo appears and calls him a trespasser. He claims that he will act in self-defense. In the basement, Kang Hyuk pauses digging and notices someone coming in. He is happy to see Min save him. However, Min passes by him and claims that he also got caught. The two continue expanding the basement, and Min complains about how Kang Hyuk offended a monster. Min tries to hurt Kang Hyuk, but he is out of energy. Kang Hyuk remembers that their boss will arrive soon. Kang Hyuk's stomach growls, and Min can only sigh. Min suggests apologizing to Sung Woo because he looks like an uptight person. Later, Sung Woo surprisingly tells them to go. Min respectfully thanks him. However, Sung Woo wants to serve them food before they go home. Kang Hyuk complains about the taste, and Sung Woo tells him that they can choose between tasty and horrific. Kang Hyuk immediately asks for something tasty. Min also wants a tasty one, but he ponders the thought that this might be a trap. Min then chooses something horrific. Sung Woo brings out the ingredients and starts preparing the dishes. Min is impressed at how Sung Woo can easily remove the fish odor. While cooking, Sung Woo wonders if Min has a heart or liver issue. Min confesses that it is a bit sensitive. Sung Woo then decides to make medicinal food for him. Seeing Sung Woo cook normally, Kang Hyuk congratulates Min. Kang Hyuk got his food. He munches a bite, and he feels ecstatic. He complains about how someone who makes terrible food can also make tasty ones. Sung Woo gives additional sauce and turns to get Min's food. Min is prepared to sacrifice himself to find out the truth behind his choices. He looks at the food, and Sung Woo wishes him luck. Min worriedly stares at the porridge and wonders if there is uranium in it. Kang Hyuk comments on how inedible looking it is. Min keeps staring at the dish and notices the flow of magic power. He realizes that the porridge is the same as a healing potion. Min wonders how Sung Woo can prepare it so fast. Min tries to confirm it, but Sung Woo signals him to be quiet. He picks up a bite, and he can feel himself being healed. However, it tastes like lead. Min needs to heal his body, so it is a do-or-die situation for him. 30 minutes later, a cheerful Kang Hyuk discovers his comrade totally blanked out. Min's injury is healed, and he can feel his magic power returning normally. He smiles and respectfully thanks Sung Woo. Kang Hyuk wonders what is happening and asks for more food. Kang Hyuk finishes his meal, and Min asks Sung Woo if he can help with tomorrow's monster raid. Kang Hyuk tells Min that he can't ask casually because Sung Woo is a returnee. He doesn't have reasons to fight for their sake. He further claims that Sung Woo is not stepping in for their sake or for them to grow stronger. Kang Hyuk claims that they must overcome the hardships on their own. Min calls him ridiculous. He knows that Kang Hyuk is just worried that the rankings in the First Order will change. Kang Hyuk cutely confesses. Sung Woo now plans to make Kang Hyuk a better person. However, Sung Woo agrees with Kang Hyuk's initial claim because he is already tired of seeing kingdoms meet destruction. Min doesn't want to pry more and asks Kang Hyuk to leave. Sung Woo tells them to visit him occasionally, especially Kang Hyuk. Outside, Kang Hyuk feels his stomach aching and complains about how Min can eat such stinky porridge. Min laughs and wonders when he will realize how lucky they are to meet Sung Woo. The next day, the boss monster raid happens. Kang Hyuk and Min get their weapons and jump into the fight. The news later reports that the two successfully subjugated the boss monster. However, Kang Hyuk refused an interview for the first time because of a stomachache. Sung Woo is relieved that they did it well. However, it seems like it is Sung Woo's fault that the gates appeared, and he is planning to place the safety of the world in the hunter's hands while he relaxes. There's one more week before opening the shop. As he plans to start preparing for the day, he notices something outside. A cute, talking cat appears with a delivery. Look at the cute paw. Alluros are extremely smart, cook well, and have an extraordinary sense of smell and hearing. They also love taking care of others. They are workaholics in many ways and have the best support out there. However, they also induce laziness in people. Sung Woo does remember asking Gaia for one before. He only asked Renato the cleric for putting slime, but it seems like there is also an Alluros. As a restaurant owner, he worries about cat fur scattering around the place. The Alluros claims it doesn't shed its fur, and Sung Woo tests it. Sung Woo then wonders why the Alluros came. It claims it knocked out God. It met the Meow God before, who declined to go with Sung Woo because he is a dangerous warrior. The Alluros then realized that training is the key, and they trained in various ways until they knocked out the Mio God. Sung Woo can now see why Renato sent the cat to him. However, he can feel Cly's and Theo's airheadedness from the Alluros. Sung Woo claims he has already retired as a warrior. Alluros begs cutely, and he gets hired as an employee in the end. The two greet each other, and Sung Woo decides to call it Nabi. At a later time, Min visits to eat a meal. As he leaves, he reminds Sung Woo that someone from City Hall will be inspecting the restaurant. They want to check if an Alluros is fit to work in the food industry, and if they pose a threat. Sung Woo recalls that someone came to tell him to register as a returnee. Min explains that it is manual to check people who aimlessly enter Earth. Min recalls that the taste evaluator is also a returnee. While Nabi is sweeping outside, a man appears out of nowhere. Nabi gets mad at the man for surprising him. The man apologizes and wonders if the shop is open. However, Sung Woo is in the middle of watching a movie. Nabi apologizes that it is closing time already, and the man feels disappointed. Nabi then offers to cook for him. The man gets excited and accepts the offer. However, the man asks for kimchi stew, which is unfamiliar for an Alluros. Nabi then starts to cook the meat, but he doesn't know how to season it. He randomly seasons it, and the vegetables are next. Nabi brings out an odd onion and later despairs that what he cooked is wrong. The man can see that it is kimchi porridge instead of stew. Just then, Sung Woo appears and notices the man and a despairing Nabi. The man introduces himself as Park Sung Han. Sung Woo can see that Sung Han had a hard time in the other world. Sung Woo wants to make kimchi stew for him because he thinks the returnee craves hometown food. He'll make sure Sung Han won't forget his cooking. He starts cooking with normal pork. He tells the Peking Nabi to come and learn how to cook it. Sung Woo continues to cook while Nabi is learning. After taking down notes, Nabi is confident that he can now cook kimchi stew. The kimchi stew is served to Sung Han. The customer and chef totally craved it while they were in another world. Sung Han's eyes get watery as he realizes that he is now back at home. After finishing his food, Sung Han confesses that he spent 13 years in Terra while 6 years passed on Earth. Sung Han finds the management on Earth perfect. Unlike Terra, Sung Woo wonders if Sung Han came back of his own volition. However, Sung Han was forced to return while exploring a dungeon with Banish. Banishment is a dimensional expulsion magic that expels someone from that dimension. Sung Woo finds Sung Han lucky. However, Sung Han has a wife, Terra, and an Alluros. He cries after remembering them. Sung Woo then offers help to send him back to Terra. Sung Han gets worked up and asks Sung Woo to help him. Sung Woo snaps his fingers, and a portal appears below Sung Han. Sung Woo is pleased to meet him. Sung Han falls back into Terra. Nabi wonders if Gaia will get mad at Sung Woo for carelessly using dimensional magic. The next day, Sung Woo and Nabi go to Sector's street market. While looking around, Nabi notices something. Sung Woo can't believe he is seeing Haragigas on Earth. He asks to buy it from the merchant, but she claims it is only for decorations because it won't open. He insists on buying it and lifts it in the end. Back in their kitchen, Sung Woo uses his strength to spread open the giant clam. They discover the huge flesh inside. Eating it raw with sauce is enough for Sung Woo to crave soju. Sung Woo decides to make clam chowder out of it. He now wonders what to do with the venomous pouch of the clam, which can be used to gain poison immunity. Nabi is anxious about what Sung Woo will do with it. Sung Woo plans to make a certain wimp eat it as a preserve. Just when Sung Woo is about to start butchering the flesh, Mine arrives at the restaurant. Mine wonders if Sung Woo found the clam in the river. Sung Woo is surprised that Haragigas can be found on the river. Mine mentions that there were complaints about loud noises coming from the sewers. Based on the hunter's investigations, there was a small dimensional fissure. It means that a gate might open soon. Nabi later serves the clam sashimi. Mine claims that a special task force has been dispatched already. No wonder Kang Hyuk is nowhere to be seen. Sung Woo finds the coincidences weird lately, like someone coming back to Earth and Haragigas appearing in the rivers. The species that eat Haragigas like snacks are the Giganti, which are over level 90. Sung Woo realizes that it might be his fault. Meanwhile, Kang Hyuk complains that he is being dispatched to the sewers instead of being broadcasted in the spotlight. Ji Hyun also wonders when they will be on standby. Just when she tries to talk to Kang Hyuk, the ground shakes and it is obviously an outbreak. Everyone gets ready and they check the gate's rank. Ji Hyun falls to her knees upon discovering that it is overranked. She wonders if their city will also disappear without a trace. Kang Hyuk reminds her to use a stabilizer and hold out. He offers to sacrifice himself to use the stabilizer inside. He tells Ji Hyun to look for the Warriors restaurant and explain everything to the owner. They can only survive with his help. Kang Hyuk orders her to move, and Ji Hyun leaves. Despite acting tough and carefree, Kang Hyuk can't help but tremble in fear. He orders the others to handle the ones that will come out, and he will go inside by himself. Kang Hyuk goes inside by himself. Kang Hyuk goes inside, try to hold out against the monsters. A huge monster tries to trample them over, but someone comes to save them and kill all the monsters. Sung Woo appears as the others are speechless, seeing the monsters dead. The soldiers wondered what just happened. Sung Woo enters the gate. Meanwhile, Kang Hyuk hides after putting up the screen while the Gigantes are walking toward the gate. The Gigantes are wondering why the gate is not getting bigger. They start breaking the screen instead. Kang Hyuk prays for Sung Woo to come. While the giants are moving around, debris flies toward Kang Hyuk. The giants wondered what they just heard, and they found Kang Hyuk. He tries to fight, but his bullets are ineffective against the giants. Just when Kang Hyuk is going to get squashed, Sung Woo appears and unsheathes his sword. His aura is enough to get the attention of the giants. Sung Woo easily cuts all the giants into pieces, and Kang Hyuk can't believe he offended such a monster before and lived. Sung Woo finds him and hits him for hiding. He wasn't planning to kill the Gigantes, but it can't be helped. He takes the artifacts and lifts the slacker with him. He throws Kang Hyuk outside, and everything is now handled perfectly. Sung Woo immediately goes back to his restaurant, and Ji Hyun appears to ask for his help. Sung Woo tries to hear her first. Sung Woo finds out that Kang Hyuk ordered Ji Hyun to ask for his help before heading inside the gate. He can only laugh and see Kang Hyuk in a new light. Sung Woo then tells Ji Hyun to relax because she will get good news soon. After kicking out the noisy customers bothering Nabi, Sung Woo wonders if Ji Hyun is also a hunter. He menacingly smiles and offers a meal for her. He is depressed about not having hunter customers. His food can improve one's abilities, but it is not entirely effective. He needs to throw out some good bait first. Sung Woo starts diagnosing Ji Hyun. and the aide can't help but wonder if this place is really a restaurant. Sung-woo then claims he's got the perfect dish for her. Ji-hyun is suspicious of Sung-woo. She wonders if he resolved the gate outbreak since she didn't get any updates on the gate opening. She remembers the manual on treating returnees. Sung-woo notices how Ji-hyun has finished organizing her thoughts. He explains to Ji-hyun that he is making clam chowder. Ji-hyun gets shocked to see the monster clam shell. She calls Sung-woo crazy for feeding a hunter with monster meat. She tries to refuse to eat, but she remembers the manual. Sung-woo then continues cooking, following the normal recipe, until it tastes good to his taste. He then serves the dish to Ji-hyun. Ji-hyun takes her first bite with worry, but the dish tastes good. It was so refreshing that she removed her coat. She is glad to eat a monster dish. Sometime later, Kang Hyok attends the S-rank gate hearing. He keeps on reporting that a restaurant owner defeated the above-ranked monsters inside the gate, but they won't believe him. They get mad at the carefree Kang Hyok over the fact that a monstrous returnee is in the city. He then tells the manager not to make an enemy out of Sung-woo. The manager does know that provoking a returnee can destroy a city in an instant. Kang Hyok then tries to leave, but the manager gets mad. He then tells the manager that he is going to buy some land around the strongest returnee's restaurant. The manager looks like he agrees, but he smacks his clipboard on Kang Hyok. Meanwhile, Mine brought other hunters to the restaurant and warned them not to be rude. It seems like Sung-woo and Mine had a deal. Seeing Sung-woo, the other hunters thought that the one who saved them was someone who looked like a mad killer. They think he looks like an idol. Food got served. Everyone took a bite, and they all found the dishes delicious. Sung-woo is glad that he has more promoters now, making other hunters come to his restaurant. He plans to make them eat monster meat slowly and secretly. A day off comes for Sung-woo, and he decides to watch a movie. Just then, he hears a second-hand shop selling weapons. He also notices Nabi from a distance with a friend. He goes in to watch a movie. Meanwhile, the little girl moves around Nabi. The girl, Yoon-ha, tries to remember her mother's words when making new friends. She then decides to buy chicken skewers and offers one to Nabi. She asks to be friends, and Nabi is happy to have an earthling friend. The two became friends over a chicken skewer. Meanwhile, groans over the news that the president of the World Hunter Association will personally come to check on the situation in the sewers. It seems like there are some enemies to deal with in the area of the recent gate break. Kang Hyok activates his invisibility to move out. Min and his team also moved out. Mine immediately confronts the gangsters and takes their hands and gun. His men immediately arrest the gangsters, and a member reports that they have caught 13 so far. They continue to move and hunt the gangsters. Later, a restless manager gets surprised to hear the news of a power outage while Min and his team are scurrying through the sewers. It turns out there is an electric user who can absorb electricity. Mine assures the manager that the gangster will faint soon from an overload. The gangster then faints. Meanwhile, Sung-woo is peacefully watching a movie with a twist when the power suddenly goes out. The screening was abruptly stopped, leaving Sung-woo depressed. He asks the goddess for a reason, and Gaia feels an itch. He returns to his restaurant to check his fridge and feels relieved that his district is not affected by the power outage. Feeling stressed, Sung-woo thought of relieving it by eating. He brings out an ice shaver and he plans to make shaved ice. Normally, it goes with sweet red beans and cereal on top. However, Sung-woo plans to make an alcohol-based shaved ice that his late father likes. He then starts making the shaved ice as normal. He then pulls alcohol from his inventory. He uses the 500-year-old alcohol he got from the devil and pours it on top of the shaved ice. He immediately tries it and can now understand his father's taste. Nabi returns and he brings Yuan-ha with him. Sung-woo asks if they want to eat something, and the two stare at the ice shaver. Sung-woo then starts making non-alcoholic ones for them. Soon after, two tired hunters appear at Sung-woo's doorstep. Min has the urge to kill the branch manager, and Kang Hyok just feels tired. Sung-woo can see that the two lost it. They rush to take care of things because a high-ranking official was supposed to come, but didn't appear in the end. Sung-woo understands that it is worth getting mad about. Kang Hyok begs to eat something delicious today. Sung-woo thinks of making a healing dish and tells the two to wait. Meanwhile, Perot, an anthropomorphic creature that forced his landing on Earth after getting caught in a rift, is supported by Ji Hyun with his heavy office work. He complains that food from the earth doesn't sit well with him. He feels homesick, and Ji Hyun finds it understandable. Just then, Ji Hyun remembers something. Perot later goes to the warrior's restaurant. Seung-woo welcomes him, but he is not permitted inside the shop because of his fur. He confirms that Perot is homesick, and he gets mad that he is being treated as a counselor now. He does remember the Uruk species back at Terra, which are cruel and violent. However, the intelligent Perot might not be one of them. Nabi comes with various ingredients. 3 hours later, there were no true results from all of the cooking they did. Perot apologizes for the inconvenience he has caused. Seung-woo swears that there is at least one dish that Perot might have liked. As Perot tries to leave, Nabi starts exercising to spend his energy on purpose. Nabi moves around and Perot finds him to be having fun. Seung-woo suggests Perot move around after finding out that all he does is sit and work. He reminds Perot not to neglect his inner animal, or he will get sick. Seung-woo calls it lethargy, and Perot's belly fat is the proof. Later, a tired Perot goes down after moving around. Nabi jumps on Perot to use massage magic, which can help burn fat faster. Seung-woo can't see that beast in Perot. He then thought of something to cook. Franchberg baby food is from the warrior family in Terra. It is food for lazy kids that can increase their vigor and combative nature. Seung-woo starts by mincing the meat. He seasons it and turns it into meatballs. He applies magic originating from an ice dragon. He gives it to Perot with a sauce. Perot wolfs down the meatballs and he suddenly feels something. Seung-woo claims that something is coming. Perot suddenly transforms into a vicious-looking creature. Perot groans with madness, and Seung-woo leads him to attack a dummy. Nabi brings out more dummies, and Perot lets out his animal instinct that night. The next day, Ji Hyun comes to eat and informs Seung-woo that Perot took a sick leave. Seung-woo understands since Perot is an Uruk, a well-known warrior clan. Ji Hyun thanks Seung-woo for his help. As Perot's guard, Ji Hyun insists on repaying Seung-woo. The chef menacingly smiles and brings out an ominous ingredient. Ji Hyun wants to repay the favor differently, but Seung-woo has already started cooking. Days later, Seung-woo breaks his knife because he doesn't control his strength. He checks his inventory, but there are no normal knives. He then decides to go outside. Because knives are limited, Seung-woo wants to go to the blacksmith instead. They arrive at a workshop called Crystal Valley, where he got an invitation from the city hall. Seo Na-ria, the guide, asks what Seung-woo needs. He asks for knives, but Na-rae misunderstands that Seung-woo wants a sword. However, what Seung-woo wants is a kitchen knife. Na-rae looks down on Seung-woo for ordering something simple in their prestigious shop. She then suggests making a custom order, to which Seung-woo agrees. Na-rae thinks Seung-woo can't afford it. Seung-woo asks for an elven artisan, and they go down using an elevator. Nabi worries because he is uncomfortable with Elven's weapons. They arrive at a location where the temperature is cold. Seung-woo is surprised to see a female elf blacksmith and notices how talented she is. The elf tells them to wait, and Seung-woo apologizes. She introduces herself as Alistair. Seung-woo realizes that she got her name from a matriarchal family. She then claims that there will be no refund if her work doesn't choose Seung-woo, and no one in Korea has been chosen so far. Seung-woo then asks for a kitchen knife, and Nabi is surprised by the price Alistar has presented. Alistar then suggests Seung-woo look around, but Seung-woo worriedly declines. Alistar laughs as she knows that her children won't choose Seung-woo. However, Seung-woo thinks of it as troublesome. Alistar pulls Seung-woo into her showroom. Seung-woo then apologizes in advance and points out that Alistar was at fault in the beginning. All the weapons in the showroom start shaking, and Alistar is freaking out. Alistar says not to treat her children like toys. She kneels on the floor while Seung-woo reminds her of his warning. 10 years ago, the elven artisan had just completed one of their masterpieces, but somehow it flew to Seung-woo. The other elf laughed, saying that his masterpiece was nothing special. However, Eventually, the other elf shield also became attracted to Sung Woo. This happened 6 times to Sung Woo, and he gained a new title, the Elf Item Killer. Alistair was devastated over the loss of her child and became angry at Sung Woo for being a player. Sung Woo mentioned that he had already warned Alistair, but she continued to insult him, accusing him of seducing her 88 children. Alistair asked how many elf equipment Sung Woo owned, and he mentioned around 500. This worried Alistair because he did not use any of the weapons, and she was afraid that they would gather dust in storage and never see the light of day. She also worried that all of her 88 children would be lonely. Sung Woo appreciated all the weapons and decided to transfer them to the suitable owner when the time was right, but he also decided to keep them. Suddenly, he saw a blue gauntlet that was not for him. He knew that this gauntlet was for Nabi, and when Nabi used it, it looked very cute. Sung Woo took a photo of it. Meanwhile, Alistair was crying over her children while making a knife for Sung Woo. She finished her craft and gave the kitchen knife to Sung Woo, who loved it. Alistair worried that her children wouldn't find suitable owners, but Sung Woo assured her that he had a plan for them. The next day, Sung Woo's restaurant posted a Bizzare challenge, and the reward would be an Isaac certified artisan's weapon. A lot of hunter was gathered outside of Sung Woo's restaurant. Sung Woo explained to them about the challenge, which each person will be given exactly 1 serving. And the challenge consists of 3 stages, and if any people fail to complete one of the stage, they unable to attempt the next stage. Time limit will be 30 minutes. Each challenger have to pay 100 million won. Those hunter think is worth the price since the weapon is worth more than the price. Those hunter mocking Sung Woo for ruining his own business for giving away such weapon. The first challenger sit on the seat, and his ability is endurance, which he has confidence that he can completed the challenge and tells Sung Woo to serve him the Bizzare food. Sung Woo cooked the food elegantly like a gourmet, and it looks very delicious. And the hunter was wonder why this food is considered as Bizzare food. When he took a bite, suddenly his face changed. In the world of Terra, the better the food looks, the worse it tastes. Sung Woo explained to the hunters that the ingredient he used wasn't starch, which is like a potato sprout and contains poison. The hunter found the food disgusting, and some even scolded Sung Woo, warning that they could die from eating poisonous food. However, Sung Woo assured them that he was an expert and wouldn't make them die. In fact, the ingredient he used was a top-tier ingredient that increased poison resistance, making it a Kwok 2-star dish. The hunter even wrote on the table with soy sauce, using his finger, declaring that the food was not of this world. Despite their initial reluctance, some hunters were still curious and attempted the challenge, but one by one, they all failed to complete it. Yuna was impressed by the full piggy bank, but Sung Woo was disappointed that no one was able to pass the challenge. He had gone out of his way to make the poison resistance food because in Terra, poison resistance was a top priority. However, on Earth, people seemed to care less about it since technology had advanced enough to use gas masks. But what if the gas masks broke? Then they would be in trouble. Suddenly, Yunha's bodyguard arrived to take her home. However, she insisted on playing with Nabi a bit longer and asked for some more time. While they waited, the bodyguard became interested in the Bizzare challenge and asked Sung Woo if he could try it out. Sung Woo served the dish to the bodyguard, who thanked him for going out of his way to make a dish for poison resistance. As he ate the food, it tastes bad, but he realized that he had to eat slowly. Just like in the game, where taking damage slowly is better than taking all the burst damage at once. Sung Woo was happy that the bodyguard found the right way to clear the challenge and cheered him on to finish the food. The bodyguard was able to complete the challenge and was glad that he gained poison resistance. Sung Woo decided to reward him with a weapon and asked what kind of hunter he was. The bodyguard mentioned that he had tried to obtain a weapon from Alistair before, but had a 0 selection rate. Sung Woo reassured him that he didn't need to worry and that he could give him the weapon. He explained that was the purpose of the challenge. The bodyguard had been looking for something he wanted before, but was rejected, a belt. He was happy to receive the belt, which was a magic armor that extended from the belt and covered the entire body when the spell was uttered. He thought that this kind of armor was the best when responding to emergencies. The bodyguard was so happy, but he still had a poker face. Yuna was tired and sleeping with Nabi, so the bodyguard carried her home. The next day, more hunters arrived to take on the challenge. They drank a spicy sauce to numb their taste buds and get themselves ready. Despite knowing their motivation, Sung Woo served them anyway. The hunters tasted the food, and it was terrible. They still couldn't complete the challenge. The following day, Ji Hyun visited the restaurant. She declined the Bizzare food challenge and simply wanted to try Sung-woo's regular food. She also thought he had a handsome face and was about to admire him when she noticed that he had gained weight. Seong-woo was surprised that he had put on some extra pounds. Sung-woo was surprised that he had gained weight after becoming a transcendent despite not gaining any weight when he was a warrior. Ji Hyun asked Sung-woo about his recent diet, and he admitted to having 8 pieces a day while watching movies. Ji Hyun was shocked and thought that is a one-way ticket to hospitalization. Sung-woo felt guilty and cooked an oversized carbonara for Ji Hyun, secretly hoping she would also gain weight. Later that night, Sung-woo and Nabi discussed their weight gain, and Sung-woo envied how cats remained cute even when they were fat. Nabi tried to comfort him by saying he was cute too, but it only made Sung-woo feel worse. Determined to lose weight, Sung-woo prepared a dish with Nabi's help, but when he ate it, he felt a heavy punching feeling in his stomach and was sent flying. However, he was happy that he had completed the ultimate diet dish. The next day, Ji Hyun visited the restaurant again and was surprised to see Sung-woo had slimmed down to his normal self. He told her he had eaten a dish that had helped him lose weight, and soon, all the customers were asking him for the secret recipe. Obesity is a common enemy of modern people and the root cause of many health problems. There are few people who don't care about their body and appearance, but there isn't a single person who doesn't worry about their weight. The customers looked at Sung-woo with evil eyes and demanded that he reveal his secret. He told them to calm down, but it only made them more aggressive, and they even told him to shut up and take their money. Sung-woo explained to them that the food was only for hunter users and not for normal humans. Ji Hyun was happy that she was a hunter and could try the food, but Sung-woo disappointed her by saying that it was dangerous and could harm her body. Ji Hyun cried over it and became determined to obtain a body that could withstand the dangerous food, so she challenged the Bizzare food. But Sung-woo was surprised that she still wanted to lose weight, despite having a good figure already. She sighed and explained that he didn't understand the feelings of normal people about weight while scolding Sung-woo. He thought it was an excuse, which made her even more angry. After the argument, she demanded the Bizzare food but without any weapon reward at the regular price. This made Sung-woo angry, and he hoped he could make the most disgusting Bizzare food ever for her. The customers felt sad that they had to exercise and diet to lose weight, which made Sung-woo worry about them. He shared warrior calisthenics, which was Nabi's usual training, in hopes that it could quickly help them lose weight. The customers tried the workout outside the restaurant, which was embarrassing as they had to shout meow at any moment. Sung-woo teased Ji Hyun to meow louder. Ji Hyun eventually meowed louder. Min was ready for something new, and Sung-woo was glad to see how much he had changed since they first met. Sung-woo also wondered how Kang Hyok was doing. Min explained that Kang Hyok had been working night shifts and had been struggling to rest and maintain his ranking. He complained about needing more rest but was currently at home drinking. Sung-woo continued to prepare the next challenge food for Min, and he easily completed it and received a knife as a reward. Sung-woo told him to try it, and when Min threw the knife on the cutting board, it infused with an electrical field and returned to his hand. Min was thrilled to have obtained such a great weapon, and Sung-woo took the opportunity to embarrass him by taking a picture. Meanwhile, Kang Hyok was drunk and lying on his bed. He fell off the bed and angrily smashed the floor, wishing he could become a returnee like Sung-woo, so he could excel at many things and become stronger. He eventually fell asleep. Sung-woo had been keeping an eye on Kang Hyok and understood his situation. He began to think of an amazing plan to help Kang Hyok. 9 years ago, when the gates first opened and monster began invading, there were people who disappeared. After 3 years, those who had disappeared began returning one by one. They said they had been living in a different world and had gained immense strength. The general public reacted to these returnees with jealousy. Suddenly, Kang Hyok woke up in an empty space and wondered if he was dreaming. Then he heard a voice saying, "Welcome to Terra, warrior from another world," and it turned out to be Sung-woo, sitting on an office chair. Kang Hyok was surprised to see Seong-woo there, and Sung-woo continued with the typical isekai speech. However, Kang Hyok thought it was nonsense and demanded an explanation. Sung-woo explained that usually it would be a goddess serving him, but he made it work anyway and asked Kang Hyok to try and understand the situation. Kang Hyok thought that he had died due to drinking too much, As usually, isekai stories happen after a person dies. Sung-woo acknowledged his point but explained that this was different from the typical isekai story and informed him that he was not dead but would eventually die if he continued drinking. Kang Hyok asked why he was sent to another world. Sung-woo replied that he had wanted to come to Terra and had overheard Kang Hyok complaining while he was drunk, so he took the opportunity. This angered Kang Hyok, who felt that Sung-woo had trespassed in his house and taken his complaints too seriously. However, Kang Hyok soon realized that it was not a bad deal after all, since it presented an opportunity for him to become stronger. He asked Sung-woo if he could be given some kind of cheat ability, as is often the case in isekai stories. Sung-woo was surprised that Kang Hyok knew more about isekai than him, but he apologized and told him that he did not receive any cheat abilities or powerful weapons. Kang Hyok became angry at Sung-woo for trying to hide something, but Sung-woo assured him that he was telling the truth and wished him the best, saying that Kang Hyok, being a hunter with more experience, was better prepared than Sung-woo was when he first started in Terra. Sung-woo then sent Kang Hyok to another world like a god and gave him the typical final word, "Please save the world," while looking smug. He further explained to Kang Hyok that 3 days on Earth were equivalent to a few months in Terra, which was essentially a cheat ability already given to him. Sung-woo had created a system for Kang Hyok, just like in typical isekai stories, and hoped that Kang Hyok would do well in his new world. One day, as Kang Hyok was perusing the adventurer quest posting board, a kobold named Kuze approached him and asked him to eat together. Kang Hyok insulted the food in this world, saying that it tasted terrible. But Kuze teased him, saying that he had been eating it just fine until now. Kuze then mentioned the buff effect that the food could give them, and expressed his excitement to eat those kinds of dishes. However, Kang Hyok argued that cooking was about taste, not just buffs, which angered a lot of people in Terra World. Kuze told him to shut up so as not to cause any trouble. Kang Hyok silently ate the food, and suddenly, the system panel popped out, giving him an emergency quest that he had to eat a 4-star dish within a week. Kang Hyok had a serious nutritional imbalance and had to consume a 4-red-star dish within a week. When Kuze tried to explain it to him, Kang Hyok told him to shut up and focused on thinking. He wondered if he was chosen by the gods since he got the system, and asked Kuze about it, but Kuze requested a dog gum in return. Kang Hyok stared at him evilly but asked the question anyway. Kuze explained that the difference was in the system's quest, which gave tremendous advantages in advancing easily and getting rewards from the gods. Kuze further explained that Kang Hyok came from another world, which was 100 chosen by the god or god's proxy. Kang Hyok started to wonder if Sung-woo was either a god or a god's proxy, but he denied it and assumed Sung-woo was a proxy. Kang Hyok thought that the information did not worth 3 copper coins, but Kuze gave more information by mentioning a hidden piece behind the system quest. Kang Hyok requested more information by asking Kuze how to find the god who sent the quest. Kuze explained that Kang Hyok should look at the pattern engraved on the bottom right of the quest window and go ask the temple. Kang Hyok thanked him and paid the price to Kuze before leaving the restaurant. He went to the temple and asked about the quest and who was the person giving the quest to him. The person explained that the god title was God of Swords, Victory, and Bizarre Cuisine. Kang Hyok felt happy about the name God of Swords, which sounded cool, and the same went for Victory, which sounded amazing. However, he wondered about Bizarre Cuisine and asked the person what it meant, but the person did not know either. Kang Hyok was determined to clear the quest since the reward was a dimensional inventory. Suddenly, a floating island named Pantheon appeared. The god title of God of Swords, Victory, and Bizarre Cuisine was Sung-woo. The human level limit was 98, and when it went up by 1, they became a god. When they became a godly name worthy of the direction and deeds in their life was engraved in the Pantheon. The first Sung-woo godly name was Sword, which served as proof that he attained the highest level as a swordmaster. The next limit was level 198, which they could gain another godly name when they reached level 199. After a long journey and many fights, Sung-woo reached level 200 and even defeated the Great Demon King. Thus he gained his second godly name, which was Victory, a god that must not be defeated, otherwise one would lose their power as a god. Sungwoo did not care about it since no one was stronger than his swordsmanship, and he had no intention of losing anyone in the future. Sungwoo also did not expect that his third godly name would be Bizzare Cuisine. He recalled the time he returned to Earth, where he cooked a lot of meals for Earthlings. Sungwoo thought that he had stopped in his growth, but it advanced by feeding others. Sungwoo was not sure about it, but it was nice to be able to advance further by feeding people bizarre foods. Suddenly, he opened his system book and received a notification that Kang Hyuk had completed his quest, and Sungwoo received 155 experience points from the avatar. Sungwoo started to worry after learning that Kang Hyuk had taken a weapon as a reward. He had forgotten to turn off the reward item option. Suddenly, Kang Hyuk raised a Minecraft finger to the sky and scolded Sungwoo for taking back his weapon. Despite this, Sungwoo still gave him another sword, which landed on Kang Hyuk's head. In Winter Ghost Festival, if you catch the ghosts and cook the scallions that sprout from them, if you manage to kill the leader of the ghosts, you get a rare S-tier ingredient and the opportunity to eat the trace of the Winter Ghost. Kang Hyuk, who was hiding during the battle, was trying to steal the boss kill to obtain the reward. As he approached the boss, it tried to slash him, but Kang Hyuk used his invisible ability to dodge the attack. He ran towards the trace of the Winter Ghost, taking advantage of his thief label in Terra World. Kang Hyuk thought that he should act like a thief and stole the item away. He ran away from the mountain, but soon realized that he was being chased by a crowd of furious adventurers who wanted to kill him for stealing their reward. Kang Hyuk used his snowball rolling technique to slide down the mountain and escape. Sungwoo felt bad about creating a thief in Terra and worried about the confusion that it caused. A cleric appeared behind Sungwoo and scolded him for being a god of bizarre food, but not the god of thieves, which led to the appearance of a thief in Terra. Sungwoo admitted his mistake and mentioned Kang Hyuk's superstar ability, which made him stronger the more attention he received. Sungwoo also accidentally gave him a wing, making Kang Hyuk a king of thieves and over level 80. The cleric was surprised that Sungwoo made a mistake considering his power of the observant eye person, which could detect one's talents and nature. Sungwoo told the cleric that Kang Hyuk was not a bad person and had a sense of justice. The cleric used the ability Observant Eye Evil and clarified that Kang Hyuk did not steal with bad intention. The cleric was angry at Sungwoo for stealing things in Terra instead of Earth. Despite this, Sungwoo was happy that he received many ingredients as a reward for rising Kang Hyuk, including 1,000-year vinegar, unicorn's horn, and golden goblin spoon. Sungwoo had an evil idea to give Kang Hyuk a quest to steal the king's treasures, which was interrupted by the cleric, who saw some evil intentions from Sungwoo. Sungwoo admitted his mistake and asked the cleric to take care of Kang Hyuk. The cleric sent an avatar named Renato, god name, Resurrection. Suddenly, a woman appeared behind Kang Hyuk and tried to knock his head with her weapon to punish him. But Kang Hyuk woke up at Sungwoo's restaurant. He realized that only a single day had passed and checked his status to find out that he had reached level 43 from level 28. Kang Hyuk thanked the god of bizarre food for his growth and even wanted to build a statue and shrine for the god, which embarrassed Sungwoo while he was hiding behind the counter. Mind stopped Kang Hyuk's nonsense, but he still planned to do it and wrote about it in his notebook. One day in Branch Sector A, Kang Hyuk showed off his application form for the ranking match to Mine, claiming that he was a returnee. However, Mine didn't believe him and thought it was nonsense. Kang Hyuk registered for the ranking matches and worked his way up to the 90th rank. Mine was surprised when he found out that Kang Hyuk had a magic sword, and he started to believe that Kang Hyuk really was a returnee. Meanwhile, Sungwoo was relaxing on his couch and learned about Kang Hyuk's progress in the ranking matches. Reaching the 92nd rank, he was proud and relieved that Kang Hyuk had gotten over his depression. Sungwoo then watched TV and saw a fishing ground named Yule Fishing Ground. He got excited about the idea of fishing and left his restaurant for the day, leaving Nabi in charge. Nabi promised to look after the restaurant. Look at both of them, so cute. Sungwoo arrived at the fishing ground, but it looked terrible. He went to the counter to ask about renting it and was asked for his hunter's license. Sung-woo mentioned that he had a similar license and wondered why the person asked. The owner then explained that there was a tiny crack at the bottom of the fishing ground, and Sung-woo wondered if it was caused by a monster. He thought it would be worth cleaning up, especially since the best healing spot had appeared close to the store. While cleaning up, Sung-woo recalled fishing with his father and how they caught various fish, which his father then used to make a delicious spicy fish stew. Sung-woo started fishing and noticed that the water quality was bad, possibly due to the crack at the bottom. Nevertheless, he was motivated to catch fish because they were the best ingredient for making Bizzare food. Sung-woo pulled a fish from the lake. The lake skygazer, the #1 fish, hated by fishers. They appear everywhere, and since they pull hard, there's a certain satisfaction to catching them. As for the taste, 100 fatality rate for the taste buds. It tastes and feels like eating dirt, a stench that doesn't go away for hours, and bones that are near impossible to avoid. The bones are durable and sharp enough to be lodged in human flesh. Indeed, it is the worst fish to catch. Sung-woo was pleased with how things were going when suddenly a person appeared at the fishing ground. It was Lee Jong-hoon, the overseer of Isaac Disaster Recovery Sector. Lee saw the owner but was ignored, which made him feel bad. Last time, the owner had requested the removal of a crack in the area, but Lee had turned them down, thinking it was not worth the manpower. Despite being a regular at the fishing ground, Lee felt powerless to solve its issues and thought that no one would come there. However, he approached the area and saw Sung-woo fishing. Sung-woo greeted Lee, but he felt troubled as he knew Sung-woo was a returnee. Lee was surprised to see a lot of lake skygazers, and Sung-woo explained that he was going to cook them. Lee didn't understand, and Sung-woo told him that he was going to use them for a weapon. Lee warned Sung-woo not to sell such dishes in his restaurant, but Sung-woo knew something about Lee and that he might be related to the Gate occupation forces. Sung-woo explained that he didn't use these dishes for customers, but for slimes. The dish was powerful enough to kill a dragon, so it should be able to kill slimes as well. Lee was surprised that Sung-woo had killed a dragon before using cooking techniques and thought that the returnee was joking. But then Lee realized that Sung-woo was the person who had conquered an S-rank gate before and thought that he might be telling the truth. Sung-woo smiled evilly and explained to Lee that dragons were easily lured by food. He had won against the elder red dragon Yahello, the right hand of the demon king, by creating a dish that Yahello could not resist. Sung-woo's team was speechless at his fighting tactic. The final blow was made using a blade because his teammate had pushed him to do it, or at least pretend to swing the sword. Lee understood that Seong-woo intended to create an ultimate dish as a weapon for the slime. Lee started to help Sung-woo fish for lake skygazers, which he needed 60 more of. Lee was motivated to do so. Nectar and ambrosia, food that symbolize immortality. Foods of the gods that, if consumed, can even grant humans godhood. There is, however, a dish of the gods among the bizarrest of dishes, a deadly dish that can kill gods. 5-star dish. The Twilight of the Gods Ragnarok. Sung-woo had once attempted to create the dish, but his version was a mere imitation. Nonetheless, it was potent enough to bring Yahello down. Sung-woo wondered what would happen if he used Lake Skygazer as an ingredient for the Ragnarok dish. With an evil smile, Sung-woo believed he could create a 6-star dish. Lee had been fishing in the same spot for 9 years, and he remembered the time when the owner of the fishing ground had cooked a meal for him that tasted out of this world. Sung-woo hoped that he would have a chance to taste it too. Having gathered all the ingredients, Sung-woo began cooking the 6-star dish. He poured clean water into a large pot and threw all the lake skygazers into it. After seasoning the dish with salt, black pepper, and soy sauce, he stirred it well while boiling. Sung-woo focused on his magic, creating an aura from his body to make a Ragnarok dish that could kill gods and make one transcend to godhood. Suddenly, the large pot began boiling. Those who consume Ragnarok perish forever and are reborn again repeatedly. Through experiencing that process, one's original body is shattered and a new body is gained, a body that transcends even godhood. However, it's only if one can withstand it. Sung-woo cannot guarantee that he himself is able to consume this kind of dish. especially considering that the main ingredient is lake skygazers. Inside the crack of the lake, a green slime appeared below it, a large two-dimensional interceptor weapon Formula 0, a biological weapon created by scientists on the planet Gurnia. All thought it was originally created to fight against the monsters invading through the gates. As the scientist opened the lid, the green slime expanded and absorbed him, causing him to escape from its confinement and absorb everything in sight. The slime grew in weight and eventually destroyed its own planet, Gurnia. Having nothing left to devour, Formula 0 discovered a rift from a small dimension and arrived on Earth, in the process of growing bigger again. The slime wondered if there was any new prey for it to hunt. Suddenly, a dark purple cube appeared in front of the slime, and it decided to try it since it had never tasted this kind of food before. However, the slime's body began to explode as its cells couldn't withstand the new food and started to destroy themselves. The slime tried to adapt to it but kept burning from the inside, slowly degenerating. Sungwoo, who was on the ground, wondered if the slime was really dead or not, so he went inside the crack to check on it. To his surprise, Sungwoo found that the slime was so big that it could be considered at the level of a demon king. Sungwoo was shocked when he saw that he had leveled up to level 257. Sungwoo was surprised to discover that the slime had destroyed an entire planet and used to be a demon king on the planet of Gurnia. He had wiped it out using his cooking skills and leveled up, but he worried that if the slime had been able to absorb the dish he made, Earth would have been in danger. After finding out that the planet Gurnia had no mana but had fertile soil, Sungwoo decided to use it as a farming soil. As there were no survivors on the planet, he became the owner and left a mark declaring his ownership, creating a gate connected to his restaurant's basement. At the Isaac Sector, a branch office, Lee was happy that the slimes had been eradicated. However, his colleague, a scientist, was thrilled to research the dish, but Lee knew that it was impossible for a normal human being to create such a dish and told them to give up on it. The scientist admitted it and just wrote, "I don't know," in their report. Mind came into the room, proudly telling Lee about Sungwoo's skill. Lee acknowledged Sungwoo's talent and trusted him, so he told Mind never to report anything about Sungwoo from now on, giving him less burden in his job. Min felt anger that Lee was being childish. Suddenly, Mind sensed something from Sungwoo's basement and felt like a raid boss was there. In the basement, Sungwoo had been given a precious pudding slime by his former colleague Renato. It made sweet pudding in return for leftovers. And there was also another slime present. The other slime was a Formula 0, but had become smaller. It had survived by splitting itself and came through the gate that Sungwoo had opened. The slime was delighted that it could consume the pudding to regain its strength, but it just turned blue. The slime was furious and couldn't understand why it couldn't become bigger. It tried to use any skill it had, and suddenly, a pudding split out from its body, but it was just a normal pudding. When Sungwoo returned to his basement, he was angry that the slime had eaten all of his pudding. The slime was scared that Sungwoo would kill it again. Sungwoo took out his sword from his inventory and was about to slash the slime. The slime was scared and hoped that Sungwoo would spare it. However, Sungwoo suddenly smelled something fresh from the pudding that the slime had split, and he stopped his attack. Sungwoo smelled the pudding and found it to be delicious and special, unlike anything he had tasted before on Terra or Earth. He realized that the slime had produced the pudding and wondered if he could use it, but also knew that the slime had killed a lot of people and deserved to be punished. However, Sungwoo decided to give the slime a chance and used a god-tier item to see its memories and decide its fate. After using the item, Sungwoo looked sad. After a few days, Kang Hyuk and Min visited the restaurant and discovered that the slime was working there. Sungwoo explained to them that the slime was his new employee, and Kang Hyuk was struck by its pleasant aroma, reminiscent of a warm country down south. However, Kang Hyuk soon realized that the slime was actually a monster. As a follower of the god of sword and victory, Kang Hyuk decided against adding Bizzare foods because it didn't sound cool. Kang Hyuk couldn't simply ignore the situation, but he knew that Seung-woo wouldn't allow him to harm the slime. Despite this, Kang Hyuk wanted to voice his concern. Sungwoo asked if there was another solution, and Mind suggested learning more about the slime's identity by gently petting it. Sungwoo assured them that he had already removed the slime's toxicity, and he revealed that he had named it Young Shik. The slime was surprised by its new name, and Min proposed labeling it as an F-grade creature so that it would be allowed to work at the restaurant. Young Shik shed tears of sadness over its new name, and Min promised to report the slime as an F grade so that it could continue to run the business without any issues. Kang Hyuk ordered the hunter special menu lamb steak. Young Shik served Kang Hyuk the dish, and claiming that the dish tasted bad. Kang Hyuk is excited to eat the dish cause it will give him buff for every bite. Young Shik was surprised that Kang Hyuk can eat the food well. Suddenly, more customer came, and they all very busy. Young Shik busy as well and low-key claiming that he will take the revenge on Sung-woo later on for working for him. But Sung-woo had already sealed Young Shik's power. Meanwhile, Manager Lee celebrates with the lake owner after Sung-woo cleared the slime from the lake. The owner is glad that the lake has returned to normal with its crystal clear water. Manager Lee smiles and informs him that he will receive compensation from their Gate Disaster Restoration Fund. It isn't much, but it will help the owner recover the lake. Manager Lee claims that it is not because of their personal connection, but the owner just has the right to receive it. He knows that it is their fault for not sending help when the owner needed it. The owner cries as he thanks Manager Lee. Manager Lee assures him that everything will be fine now. Back at the Isaac Korean branch, Manager Lee receives a new report from Ji Hyun. It is an official dispatch order, and it is already stamped. Manager Lee can't believe that the mobile armored team is being sent out. He asks for more people because the hunters are half dead from trying the Bizzare food challenge. Ji Hyun is also guilty. She then implies that it is a good thing that they are getting help. Ji Hyun deeply wishes for a vacation. However, Manager Lee claims that the Secretary General is not like that. He doesn't like loss followed by inefficiency. There must be a catch for sending help. Manager Lee wonders which armored mobile team will come. Ji Hyun reports that it is the famous full Metal Heroes. Manager Lee gets shocked and wonders why they are sending the best team. Just then, he realizes something. The headquarters might have found out about Sung-woo's existence. Sung-woo is a returnee that far exceeds the First Order, technically a nuclear bomb that can destroy Earth. HQ might have sent the team to subdue Sung-woo in an emergency. However, they are naive. Manager Lee claims that they must stop the mobile armored team because they stand no chance against Sung-woo. Manager Lee thinks of possible solutions and wonders if the Secretary General knows something that he doesn't. He dismisses it because it is not possible unless the Secretary General planted a spy in the restaurant. Meanwhile, the bodyguard sneezes out loud. Taeji complains about the weather while eating pork cutlet steak and mushroom soup. He heartily takes a bite and enjoys the food. Sung-woo comments on how athletes can eat food in mere 2 bites. Taeji then asks for another serving, and Sung-woo claims that it might take some time. His used plate gets carried out by Young Shik. He wonders why the slime is helping out. Taeji is worried that Young Shik might harm Yoonhar and swears not to put her in harm. He then glares at Young Shik, and the slime feels the animosity. Young Shik is working hard because Sung-woo promised to protect him. However, he wonders what he did wrong to be glared at by Taeji. They glare at each other until Seung-woo picks up Young Shik. Taeji apologizes because he instinctively puts up his guard. Sung-woo then shows how harmless Young Shik is. Poor Young Shik. Taeji sighs and informs Sung-woo that the armored mobile team is coming for Sung-woo. Sung-woo got them confused for the capital Mechanized Infantry Division. Taeji explains their establishment. Awakeners or hunters are those who shield humanity from monsters. However, they are low in numbers. Ordinary people started to think if they can also fight despite not being awakeners. They also want to fight with weapons that can pierce a monster's heart and armor that can protect their bodies. Cyberdyne, a leading global scientific company, responded to this idea, and war gears were created. Sung-woo finds the machine interesting just hearing it. He now wonders how slimes are related to them. Taeji explains that the machines are useless against slimes that get into the machine's gaps. They encountered such incidents and they now hate slimes. Sung-woo claims that it makes sense. At the Isaac Korean branch, Manager Lee and some hunters greet Woo Ha-na and her armored mobile team. Hana shines as she greets everyone. Kang Hyuk gets interested in her. He then tries to pick her up, feeling confident that he is of a higher rank. Hana laughs and claims that Kang Hyuk got one out. Flicking his forehead, She warns him not to reach for the third. Kang Hyuk is embarrassed in front of everyone. Manager Lee later informs her that they have already prepared the accommodations for her team. He tells Hana that it is their free time today, and she can look around the city. Hana agrees and claims that she has somewhere to visit. She surprisingly mentions the restaurant that serves dishes using monsters as ingredients. Manager Lee denies that he told her. Kang Hyuk and Min also claim that it is not them. Hana claims that she always wanted to eat monsters at least once in her life. Min confirms that the monster dishes taste terrible. Hana proudly claims that she has tried some bizarre foreign food before. Min worries and tells her that monster cuisines are different. Hana menacingly claims that she also wants to try eating slime. Min is worried and plans to stop her. Just then, Manager Lee mentioned that Sung-woo handled slime before. Min mentions that there is indeed a slime monster in the restaurant. Manager Lee claims that it is raised for consumption, and then tells him that it is a mutant slime that works as an employee. Manager Lee gets hit with sudden stress and his hair starts falling out. He gets mad because Min didn't tell him anything about the slime. Min exclaims that it was Manager Lee who told him not to report anything about the restaurant and Sung-woo related matters to him. Kang Hyuk yawns and tells them that communication is indeed important. Well, he is not one to talk about it, and the two get mad at him. Later, Hana arrives at the restaurant. Sung-woo and Taeji immediately notice her. Sung-woo did expect her to come. Nabi cheerfully greets her, and Hana is surprised to see a cat employee. Sung-woo checks on young Shik, who is having a hard time maintaining his child form. Young Shik can't hold on too much, and he is at his limit. Hana hears a splashing sound, and Nabi freaks out a bit. Nabi then starts telling Hana about their dishes made from slime. Young Shik sighs as he almost gets caught. He realizes that he shouldn't be scared of humans and changes form again. He brings out Hana's order and continues working while switching between his slime and child form. After Hana is done eating, Young Shik gets her dessert cup. Hana then points out that Young Shik is slime. Young Shik trembles in fear. Everyone in the restaurant panics. Hana tries to pick up a utensil after seeing slime. Young Shik reverts back to his original form and hides behind Nabi. Hana menacingly glares at Young Shik as she prepares to fight. She remembers the battle her team fought before. She watched her team get attacked and obliterated by slimes, and she could only listen to their dying cries. The pilots are only civilians and can't get out on their own without outside help to disassemble the machine. Back to the present, Hana tries to attack Young Shik with killing intent. Just then, Hana stops, as Sung-woo menacingly reminds her that the knife is for cutting the pork cutlet. It is not meant to be used as a weapon. Hana stops moving as she looks at Sung-woo. Sung-woo did hear Hana's story from Neji. He understands why Hana is acting like that. However, Young Shik also has a story of his own. Young Shik wasn't a slime from the beginning. After the fissures opened in his world, monsters attacking civilians became a common occurrence. A slime monster feasted on a poor child. The slime was unique. It can absorb the knowledge and characteristics of its victim after consumption. Gurnia's scientists began capturing slimes after this discovery so they could create a weapon to destroy the fissures. However, the slimes began developing self-awareness, and the first slime to gain it became the first to be sacrificed. The slime felt endless pain while being experimented on, but it doesn't feel any emotions like hate or resentment. The only thing it knew was to eat, and that is how Young Shik ate everything in his original world. After Sung-woo saw such memories, he couldn't label Young Shik as an assailant. Young Shik is still a child who needs an adult to protect him. Not like those scientists from his world, but an adult that can teach him right and wrong. Sung-woo confronts Hana and asks what she is doing with his kid. Hana is appalled to hear Sung-woo call his kid. Young Shik is also surprised to hear what Sung-woo said. Young Woo claims that Young Shik is officially registered as his tamed monster. Hana clicks her tongue as she realizes that she can't fight in there. She puts down the knife as she realizes that she can't win against an awakener. She sits down and wonders how she can kill Young Shik. However, it is totally impossible for her. Hana then points out the issue of a mobile armored team member seeing slime. Sung-woo points out the issue of attacking a tamed monster in front of its tamer. Hana tries to offer compensation so she can capture Young-shik. Sung-woo menacingly laughs and comments on how funny Hana's joke is. Sung-woo tells Hana not to reach for the third strike. Hana wonders what he is going to do. Sung-woo just tells her to try it and see. Eiji worries about the confrontation. Hana then threatens Sung-woo that he will have a hard time after he offends her. Sung-woo also points out that she will be in a difficult position if she offends him. He also asks to stop the war of nerves because the normal customers are getting affected by the scene. Nabi and Taeji also give a signal to Hana. Hana realizes that she just held a knife in front of civilians and a tamed monster. Hana then apologizes for being rude, and Sung-woo claims that words are not enough. She then offers to pay for everyone's meal. Sung-woo agrees, but after she orders more food, Daeji gets worried for Hana and wonders if she hadn't read the order about Sung-woo. Hana then notices Young-shik, who just served her food. That night, a dead, tired Nabi claims that it should have been better to hide Young-shik from the slime-hating Hana. Sung-woo claims that Young-shik is indeed not innocent. However, he did nothing wrong at the restaurant. Moreover, the restaurant is Sung-woo's property, and Hana can't come back if she doesn't want to. Nabi then wonders why Sung-woo was making Young-shik transform into a human kid while working. Sung-woo claims that it is training for Young-shik. Sung-woo exclaims that the kid who could only endure 10 seconds while transformed can now go up to a minute. The danger is indeed a good driving force. Nabi now learns what Sung-woo has planned and calls him a Spartan. Sung-woo can see that Nabi is tired as usual because of his anxiety. Sung-woo yawns as he plans to go to sleep now. Outside the room, Young-shik feels happy that Sung-woo called him his kid. Young-shik goes inside the room and climbs on the sofa bed. He stays beside Sung-woo, who notices his cute movements. The three then go to sleep.